Start. That's where we left off last time. Yesterday evening, I think after the stream, I went on Reddit. It's a hilarious subreddit, app ideas. People on Reddit are so funny. And I thought, why not post a link on the Swift subreddit and let people know with the For Your Information tag that I'm streaming. And people would actually, I was surprised this morning why my subscriber count would actually hit 3,000. And that was exactly because of Reddit, because people would like the post that I did. I was surprised and thrilled at the same time. So let's put the quality to 240. Refresh and also let Instagram know where we are. Okay, so let's run the app. Jake the programmer, hey Martin, hey. Do you recognize this one? I didn't try it yet, I have seen your pictures, but I downloaded it already. I'm not sure if you can see it. If you are able to see it. Bana. So let me do this. At least you have one more download. I will check it out at some point. So since yesterday, I couldn't but just write 5 more lines of code in this project, which I shouldn't have done because every single line of code I've written so far has been live streamed. The only 5 lines of code that has not been live streamed were the lines of code yesterday, and I will tell you in a second what I did. Basically just when you go and start, I fixed that this is displayed because we simply forgot to say setup view in the progress view, so this was never called, so we couldn't see it. And on top of that, I added tint color instead of background color, because background color is this one. It can stay the way it is. And I added the corner radius, which should be half of the height, so it's basically super round on the left and right edge. Thank you so much. There's already a bug shake my head, but it's just a stupid constraint error. I see. Yeah. That's normal. I mean, now it's the cool thing to like develop an update and push an update is gonna be quicker. Overall, I think the whole process is fun too, just to get into the whole thing. Developing an app, finishing it, and then updating it and improving it basically step by step. Oh, and the other thing that I did was increasing the font size. That's it. Nothing else. That's the only thing that has changed since yesterday. That has not been live streamed. Cyber, hey Martin, hey, welcome to the stream. Also Mori Nerd, hey Martin from Brazil. Welcome to the stream and greetings from Tacoma, Washington State. Good to see you guys. So we have to think about what we want to do. We have a pause and stop button. That time review is there, but its logic is not done yet. Alright, yeah, I'm probably going to push the update soon. I already developed the dark mode for the app today. That sounds great. I've seen somewhere that you would mention that next feature would be dark mode. Maybe in the app description or somewhere. Sounds good to me. Is it your first app, by the way? Or did you release an app before? So we have this one. What we want is we want to have the information of the workout and basically start and then pass in the first exercise or whatever it is. Exercise, basically the type is irrelevant, whether it's actually exercise or pause. It should show the title, the time, and the progress bar based on the time. And also what's next. Once this is over, you want to let the view controller know it's over, so the view controller can react and basically push the next thing and update this view too. Which Alan! Hey Martin! Hey Alan! What's up? Greetings! I made a very basic app before so that I could get used to the process. Then I took it down. So technically this is my first production app. I feel you. I kind of had the exact same process. Neuralazic was my very first app and I released it, and then I took it down only to release Social Down as my first production app. And then I released my game. And now we're on to releasing this app soon. Madi says, hey, I'm from Iran. Hey, I'm from Germany. Currently in the States. Okay. Let's do the view first. Running workout VC. This one. So mark, set up view. It's that. And the next thing we want to have is next, just a label, simple label, but we want to have a table view, I think. Or not, yeah, we want to have a table view with one cell. And we kind of want to have a state, a current state of the exercise. Because when you press pause, right, you want to pause the whole thing, which is going to be interesting to do, and then continue. And when you want to update the table view, you want to make it know where we are at, and either you're doing that based on a variable that knows where we're at, based on an index, or you are populating a different array always with the next state. I think what could work is say it's like, okay, this is inherently int. Current exercise point is 0, it's always first. I'm at the airport since my office switched to work from home, so heading back to family. I see. And with heading back to family, do you mean what country are you heading back to? And be careful, airport, wash your hands, 20 seconds. Don't touch your face. Stay healthy. What do you think about Node.js? I don't have a particular thought about Node.js. I think it's cool that you can use JavaScript to develop your backend. It makes things easier if you want to just stick with one language primarily. Rage Master, hey, welcome to the stream. Okay, so that could be our current point. What I thought is we could also do a struct that would remember the workout ID and the current point, so that it could even pause, go back, and even continue where you have left off last time for whatever reason. So it's really like, you know, you can open up the app and you can get back to the point where you left at the very oh, and also does it have to remember the seconds left too? Sort of. Let's keep it simple. I'm in India. I work in a different city. What is that? Also washing machine. Earthquake. Earthquake. Then my family. And yeah, I'm being careful at the airport. That's good. Let's keep it simple. Let's just stick with current exercise point. Let's have a private let. Next label is just the label saying next and nothing else. So view, add subview, next label. Next label, translate auto resizing mask into full. God damn it. Translates auto resizing mask equals false, and then we are going to say top anchor is constrained to the current exercise view bottom with a constant of 30. So we have plenty of space. And then leading could be leading, no, save area leading, and trailing could be save area trailing. That's basically it. Activate the layout constraints trailing, and giving it's bold, right? It is bold. Text is going to be next. Oh yeah, one sec. It's not just to stream, so now you should be able to see better. Alright, my flight's boarding. I'll catch you later. Have fun stream. Alan, thank you so much, and stay safe, and yeah, safe travels, basically. There's only so much you can say. My Pokemon returned from my arena. God damn it, that was quick. Was it? Actually, I think he stayed the whole day. Let's see if it was enough to have enough Pokemon coins to buy a new bag, because my Pokebag is always full. I already upgraded my bag and my item bag based on coins I earned through arenas or gyms. It's still too little space. Font is gonna be bold system font of size. What do I know? 24. You know, sometimes I would just like to have a utils here, where you would just create, say, a new. You can create a new enum called font size, and the reason why I would create an enum font size and then have, say, static variables in here, small equals to 20. What is it? 17. I think this is standard. Static for medium equals to 22. What is that? 24. So let's say 24. And then static var large is 32. Static var extra large is, and we can go into our current exercise view and see what we have used there. Wow, 150 and 50 are humongous. So what we could do is we could say font size dot humongous. Whoops, that was actually extra large, right? Font size and then extra large. And as you can see, the autocompletion does not tell me what value this is. That's unhandy. It's not handy. So size 150. You want to have autocompletion tell you what size it is. 24, 32, and 50. So now when we say extra large, we see size 50. Okay. And up here we say font size humongous 150. The reason why I use enum here is because you are not supposed to instantiate, basically create an instance of font size. Yet I want to have font size and some overall for the whole app defined font sizes. And now, for example, if you use font size, you cannot create an instance of it. You should not be able to, or actually, can you create an instance of, what would this one be? Does that make sense? Font size cannot be constructed because it has no, exactly, so you cannot. I was a little bit confused because it will just color highlight. So you cannot create an instance of it because it's an enum. We could have also used a struct, but then you could have created an instance for it, which doesn't make sense because it's unintended. You don't want it to be possible. So then we can say font size. What do we have? 24 is medium. Okay. Good morning, sir. Faizan. Hey, good morning and welcome to the stream. So good morning means you're in India as well. Oh yeah, basically we have to say all of that is CG float. Pakistan. That is in India, isn't it? Am I mistaken? I'm super bad in geography, so sorry if I'm wrong. No offense. So we can run it now. We have some home workout. India's our neighbors. All right. Got you. And Abdul, what's up, Martin? Hey, what's up? So, yes, I got 50 Pokecoins. Saving the workout, adding an exercise. I'm super excited to have this app finished because I need it. This is the reason why I wanted to build it in the first place. So starting, there we go. We have next, but it's not white. Next label, text, color, custom, white. So that's that. I think the sizing, almost, right? Almost. Large is going to be 32, this is 50, 32, maybe? Let's see, let's have a look. Let me also get a Dr. Pepper, so be right back. 1 second. Phew, that was quick. We are on the 3rd floor. I ran down to the 1st floor into the kitchen, got the Dr. Pepper, and ran back up. It says you deserve it. Yes. That's good. Back to coding. What is everybody doing? What are you doing, guys? Are you watching, chilling? Are you coding as well? Are you doing anything else? I mean, this is the perfect time to code a project. Being at home, not being able to do anything really, but chill, Netflix and chill, or code a project. There we go. I think it looks nice. Why is this one not light? Should we do it lighter? Let's see, in comparison to, oh yeah, I cannot exit this view yet. Also, this bar right here is currently not having the shadow. Let's keep it that way for now, but we can improve it maybe in the end. I'm coding along, nice. Jake the programmer, awesome, I like that. And Abdul asks whether I am in Germany. No, I am in America, in Washington State. Not Washington DC. So next what we want to do is say table view. So next exercise, table view, just a UI table view, as simple as that. Private func setup. Next exercise, table view. Let's just use that. Next exercise, table view, translate precise mouse to false, and let's also align it. Seattle, almost. Tacoma. It's an hour away from Seattle. We're staying right now here. Kind of back and forth. So next label, bottom, 15. Next exercise table, let's see. We have it like that. I think it's gonna be full all the way. Is it? We have to have a look at the exercise list VC. How did we do it there? No, stop it. So the reason why I use, okay, let me show you something. The reason why I use mark here is if you use /mark colon and then the hyphen, what Xcode will do is create this one right here for you, setup view, which is kind of for you like a, it helps to find if you have like a long view controller, you can just go up here and then you see, oh, logic, action. And so logic, for example, here, mark logic. You have also this line up here. It's kind of sectioning, creating sections for you. And I forgot to put, well, actually not forgot, but I would not always do set up view like so. So that's a section as well. And now I can easily see, oh, this is where I have the view. I'm looking for the table view. And now we can say, yes, leading and trailing is all the way to the end there, because I want the same appearance for this cell as in the exercise list, which is the same distance. And so let's use leading anchor constraints to the views. Leading anchor without. So trailing, next exercise trailing, constraints to view trailing. As Istanbul a bicycle friendly city, and Elysian says, hey Martin, hey, now good to see you again, long time no see. And Tacoma, we didn't bike yet, but there, yes it is, I think it is, because we have some other roommates that would go out with their dogs to the beach and whatnot, and you have quite some things around here in close distance if you bike. I definitely want to buy a bike. I need a bike to get around. But for now, we're not supposed to go out, so kind of. God damn it. Leading, trailing. I said trailing. That's not what I wanted. Trailing. And let's see, we just need one cell. We can still do, oh, we won't do to the bottom. So how large should this be? I think if we open up if we open up exercise list BC and see how big it's, how high the estimate height for row is 120. I don't know what the end result is. I want to bike commute so bad. Yeah, it's nice. I like to bike as well. I don't know, I haven't biked for a while, until I went to LA for a month and we would bike almost every day. It's really nice. Almost every day, so definitely multiple times in a week. What if we just say height for now? Let's do that to 150, and also have running workout we see is UI table view data source, of course, fix it. And also running workout is UI table view delegate. And we don't need the delegate. We don't have any actions like select or whatnot. Oh, maybe we do actually, because there is this one function. You don't want this to be able to highlight. Maybe we can disable that in the cell itself, which we don't want to generally, because what? Let height. So let's just oh yeah, sometimes what I would do is, let's do our private var exercise list currently exercise just with one for now. Should include everything. So that title, bicycle, minutes, 0 seconds, 45 kind exercise. Just so we have one entry. We're going to pull that out of the database. Right now we're working with mock data so we can build our views. So that means we don't want to return here all of the list. What we want to return here is from number of rows and section. Here we want to return just one. And self row at index path, we don't care about the index path. We care for so this is one, right? So that should make sense, I guess. So let's say we have cell and then table view, DQ reusable cell with identifier cell ID for index path, which should be 1, I guess, or 0. We have to also register our exercise cell for the same ID. Bike commute, where you don't have to worry about driving, being stuck in traffic, don't have to worry about paying for gas, insurance, and bike commuting stress-free, less stress. True, but also time. Like you are, I mean, the drawback is that you would have, you would need more time to get where you want to go. Whereas, for example, if you use public transport, you would be either as fast sometimes, but even if you're as fast or faster, you could at least do something like code, which I would do, which I was doing back in the days, like 2 years ago. Actually, a year and a half ago. But yeah, it's all a question of priorities. If you don't work out, for example, using the commute as well for bike, for the exercise of biking, it's perfect. So telling the table view that we are the data source, exercise cell should be cell casted into the exercise cell, else just return the cell, which should never happen because we only have that. And then exercise cell should have a set, and then the model, and the model should be the exercise list, and then not index path, but current exercise point. And then we have the model, which is 0 initially, and then we return the exercise cell, like so. I have no idea what it does. And I already finished this package here. God damn it, I forgot to set up the table view. So when I was on Reddit yesterday, If you go to Reddit, subreddit app ideas, not app idea, I think it's app ideas. There are two subreddits. One has just 50 members, the other one has 500 or something. It's a nice subreddit. Almost every day you have one more post from of someone actually sharing their idea. So if you want to inspiration, you can go there and see whether one of the ideas that was shared is actually something you want to build yourself, just as a test project, right? Or like a training project. But anyway, sometimes there are ideas that are so funny, and sometimes it's an idea that is not as funny as the comment of the people. It's like, I don't know, I literally cried yesterday laughing, reading through all of that. Super amusing. I wished I streamed it. Okay, there we go. Look at this. This is already what we want. And it's the same cell. Our table view should be, we can just do down here next exercise table view background color is clear. This should help. I think it's white right now. I mean, it's white, obviously, by default. That's so cool. I have to check it out. Yeah, and Idris, can you recommend any courses on iOS development? What I can recommend is YouTube. So yes, there are Udemy courses if you want to have one teacher with with a plan to get you through it. But what I can recommend is YouTube if you go for example, Sean Allen, or on my channel, or Code with Chris, or Brian Advent with how to build that app. If you use YouTube, what it does is not only will you find tutorials, but it also teaches you to search properly for what you're looking for. And that's one of the key skills for a developer. If you buy a course on Udemy, yes, you will learn how to code too, but you also can get stuck into the tutorial vicious cycle where you never really build something yourself, and where you don't learn how to search for something that you're looking for, because everything is spoon-fed to you by the tutorial. So that's my recommendation. Okay, skips. And there we go. Look at this. The screen looks so similar to this already. Isn't this great? What we could do is give this one already the top, not 15, because look at this. We have 30 from there, and this is 15, yet it's oh, we have 30 as well, because I think the cell has 15 all around. Alright, we don't need a constant to the top. One more question. How to get good at building user interfaces in iOS? Copy. Just copy and get inspired by other people's design concepts. And on Medium, literally there are some publishers called UX something, and you can follow them and you can just read about articles about UI best practices and whatnot. And what it does is it gives you a guts feeling how to design certain things. And also over time you will learn that you want to keep things simple and not overcomplicate designs. Just like I would, for example, if I design a web interface, what I would do is by default, I don't do it. I just don't. I just go to Bootstrap and just take the components they offer and then build out everything together. And most of the times it also just looks in the end good enough. You just have to apply a little stylings here and there to make things in this, like put them into the right say relation or distances, so they don't look too crowded or close. But that's really it. Do you build UIs programmatically or use storyboard? No storyboard. Everything programmatically. Storyboard is literally the first file that I delete whenever I create a new project. So we got this. Now we can go to the logic part, which is the actual challenge. And I'm also not sure whether this will work out on the longer run. I didn't complete my thought process on that. But we'll see in the end. Thoughts on the new iPad Pro? I think it's they didn't publish anything that makes you, oh, I want to buy it. I don't know whether it's because they publish it silently without an event, or whether it's just because they improved lots of internals. And also obviously the only thing I am excited about is the AR feature, the AR sensor because it's supposed to be the best in the world, and I really want the next app that we are building is actually AR based. Right after this fitness app, once that is published, we are going to implement. There is no gap. There will be the day will come this month probably where we will finish this app on Wednesday or something, or Thursday, publish it, and then on Friday, hey guys, welcome back, let's create the next app. It's just gonna be a fluent transition to the next app, and it's gonna be AR based, and I want to get deeper into AR to develop my knowledge, because I have the feeling, actually it's not even a feeling, it's a fact, that AR is going to be more important in the future. And imagine you are getting into AR and you're getting good at this craft, really good, and then Apple just dropped AR glasses. What do you think, how many people will actually start to develop apps for AR glasses, start learning how to do that? And you're the one sitting there and thinking, I already know how to do that. I'm just gonna start today building something, and you're the first on the market to do something that's cool with AR glasses. So that's my goal. Now I shared it with you. Don't share it with anybody else. It's the stream exclusive secret. Don't share it with the world. I missed being here live. Adrian, hey, yes. It's good to see you. And Yixe or Yikes, people still use UIKit. Of course. Of course, it's going to be like that for at least one more year. AR is so excited. That's so cool. Looking forward to those live streams. Great goal to have. Jake, Eduard just started using 3D models for this OneRap app, and it's being pretty cool to see the process. I agree. Like, I've seen his. I mean, it's not. I don't think he used ARKit. I think he would use SceneKit to implement his 3D models. But still a cool thing to have, like something that shows you how to do the exercise properly. All right. Apple Glass likely in 2022. Plenty of time to learn AR then. I can see Apple to just say, hey, today we're gonna innovate, or we're gonna reinvent the glasses, and then they're dropping the AR glasses, and what they're gonna say is, by the way, all AR apps coded for iOS and iPad just run on AR glasses like that. I can see that coming. We don't have to re-implement the app for AR glasses. They just make it compatible. That is going to be awesome. So back to the actual stuff here. So we want to have logic here. Set up logic, private func, setup data. Setup data is going to fetch or retrieve from the database our exercises, and then we want to have it in our view. I'm thinking whether this should also, we need another function that kicks off the actual workout of all of it. If programmatically, do you suggest a beginner like me to use storyboards? I'm asking this because most of the courses teach storyboards to build UIs. I would actually recommend to do it programmatically, because I know how you feel. I definitely know how you feel because I felt the same. The first time I implemented an app, it was half programmatically, half UI like with storyboards, using the UI and a storyboard to compose your view. Because programmatically sounded so intimidating, where you thought, I have no idea how this should work. How can you code something so it looks the way you want it in the UI or in your app? It's just because it's only intimidating because you didn't try it yet. It's super simple, and if you want to start doing that, I have a video on my YouTube channel, multiple videos, how to start from scratch your first app using Programmatic UI. So, for example, let me just show you for short. The reason why I did that is because I wanted to take away the fear of getting into Programmatic UI. Now, when we go into videos and scroll down, what you will see is all these thumbnails, and you have Swift UI, some tutorials, some server-side Swift over there, and then somewhere at the very beginning, you will see right this one. Red on the top, black on the bottom. Storyboard, nope. Programmatic UI, yes. And then first iOS app with Programmatic UI. And what I do is basically I'm creating a new project and I'm throwing away everything that is not needed, and we're programmatically on progressively as well implementing our first app from the ground up, understanding where's the entry point, how everything is connected, what you can do, and really giving you a feeling, oh, okay, I know how to start a project and how everything is connected, kind of, and how I get to my first view that is presented and how things are seen there. And at some point, let me see, we have, what is it that we do? Let's do it as full HD, not full HD, but just HD. I think we are going to just put a label, a button, and oh yeah, and a label on top. So super simple, but as you can see, this is 35 lines long, and it actually displays a button and a text, and you're changing the text by clicking the button or tapping the button. All in these few lines of code with no magic behind. You're learning it, you're understanding it, and yeah. So I hope this is something that is helpful. I wonder if they are going to focus their keynotes code snippets on UIKit or Swift UI that we've seen this year. I think both. I think they do it both. They did it the same last year when they had Swift UI, and they had lots of talks about Swift UI and also still UIKit improvements. So they are still putting effort into improving UIKits while obviously pushing Swift UI to be production ready, because as of for now, I think it's still breaking every now and then its API. So what we want to do is we want to have a look at our exercise list. If you see, no, actually not. We don't have to retrieve our data from the database again. We don't have to do that again, which is a more heavier, say, computation, a more computation intense process. We have the information already once we open this view, because that's where we're coming from, right? So let's see, we have the exercise list, the controller. This one is presenting it. This one is once you are hitting start, right? We have list exercise response. This is our exercise list, which means when we are having the action start workout action, what we can do is running right here, we can assign it. So how do we want to call it? It is list exercise response. I think it's the same. I think we can keep it like that because it's still in the view. So like so. What we even could do is say this is a requirement like that you cannot change. Doesn't make sense to change it. And then here what we say is init list exercise response, self list exercise response. So on initialization, and also fix that. Thank you. Super init nil. Oh, one sec. This is before. Thank you so much, man. I'm very confused with storyboards, which has stack views and whatnot. I will follow your tutorials, and if you know any resources which take programmatic UIs, please help. I think that Brian Advent does it, or did it heavily. So if you go here to YouTube and use let's build this app, okay, you will see this guy. And if you go in here, he also does tutorials about Flutter and whatnot. But if you scroll down, it's gonna be not as structured, because he just does sometimes things that he likes, which is totally okay. But what I liked about him is that he does programmatic UI, and you kind of have to dig into his, maybe the playlists are better, I don't know. You have to dig into his channel and then see he also does Node.js REST APIs, but he also does auto layouts. He basically explains how to use auto layout, and Swift animations, whatnot. Auto size UI table view chat was interesting, maybe not necessary if you don't need it. I would also keep your apps as simple as possible for the beginning. If you start out, you don't need stack view. You don't need stack view if you start out. I think you should, I mean, stack view makes things simpler, obviously, but it also can be one more thing that makes it more difficult for you to progress. We should have that assigned, and if we run it, it should not allow us to run because we are exercise, well, list exercise response list like so. But here now, when we want to initiate it, it will require us to pass this one in, and it is basically our exercise list. Actually, we could have named it this way too. Let's just do it. So failed because of Muhammad. Hey man, how are you? I'm good. How are you? I'm doing good. So now we have the first exercise. What we want to do is, when we are setting up the view, we have logic afterwards, and private func kick off workout maybe. What it does is, what this should do is trigger or like pass exercise into current exercise view. Trigger exercise view. To countdown, so we're passing the information in. It should, then we should want to trigger it to count down. we want to increment our current exercise pointer, and we want to yeah, basically reload the table, just reload it. And here, when we have if current exercise point is smaller than exercise, we don't want to run out of index, right? We don't want to exceed the index. The count of the list to have an invalid index. So the current point is, for example, 0. What if we just have one exercise, just like right now, what we always do, right? One exercise which is 0 in the array, and when we increase it, we are at 1, and if we try to access it at 1, which is not existent, it will throw and crash. We don't want that. We want to say if it is, if this one is smaller than count, then basically if it's equal count, just return the cell. Like that. For index path, it's the same cell all the time. Wait a second. Yeah, it's the same text because we just have one. So it should be empty. Else you can just go further and access it. If we are at 1, if we are 1 and the list amount is 1, then we have no index 1, we have an index 0, and 1 would exceed the list. That's why we return the cell, which is an empty cell, and doesn't display anything. Will React Native eat jobs in iOS development? It does it somehow, obviously, it must. I mean, the only positions React Native is actually covering is iOS jobs and Android, so whoever is using React Native is basically doing that because they're not using iOS and Android jobs. Logically, yes, it is eating up the jobs of them. However, it will never, I don't think ever it will replace iOS and Android native development. It's not possible. It's literally not, it's physically not possible. It can only reduce. The question would be how much, right? But it's not possible because React Native is basically based on native code. And so as long as native code is needed in order for React Native to work, there will be developers who prefer the native code and code in that. And as long as developers are there to develop in native code, these developers could be self-employed engineers like me who built a fitness app that maybe generates enough income to maintain it and hire another iOS developer who can maintain this native code, and therefore I'm creating a position for native code inherently by the pure existence of native code, which is a requirement for React Native to work, right? Does it make sense? I think it does. So let's see, what we want to do now is we want to go into our exercise, current exercise view, and also implement, this one is private. We want to implement a public function that will allow us to set the current one. Not only set exercise, response, I think, or is it even model? Oh, I don't know. It's a view. It should actually only work with responses. But I think inside here we have a list of models. Yeah, and there we go. We start using the model, and we shouldn't necessarily do that, I think. Should we? Let's think. We have current exercise view. Yeah, maybe. Okay. Let's go with the exercise model here. So when we do that, what we want to do is basically, see, that's the issue, because right now we have minutes and seconds, and now we're starting to have to calculate the overall seconds to display it properly here. This is not what the view should do. What we can do is we can say running workout response. We are going to create a exercise response. We could, yeah. So responses, I kind of use them for two. They have two purposes. One is they are the response of the data and business layer to me, to the view. I'm, as a view, request the data layer, the business layer, to give me data, and I will retrieve it or get it as a response. So I'm, as a view, get a response, and I'm using this response to display data. So basically, the response is my container of data, which means if I'm passing it on, it's not really, which I do right now, from one view into another. I'm not really responding to something. I'm really just using this container and passing it on. That's why it's kind of as well like a data container, not only a response in itself. So exercise response, and what I want to do here is say struct exercise response, and we only want things in here that are needed by this view, which is the amount of seconds, the name, and that's basically it, right? So we have seconds, which is int. We have exercise name, which is string, and that's it. But if we do init, we don't need init for structs, no, like usually, because we just it's something that's that Swift is gifting us with structs, which is awesome. But I want to do something special once we are initiating it, and that is calculating. Basically, what we want is here, we want to have it based on the model. So what we can do is we can say static from model exercise model, and then response exercise response, like so. Current exercise, let's say current exercise response, because then it's more clear where this one belongs to in the current exercise view. AJ, hey Martin, good morning. I'm super late today. I woke up late. Hey, no worries. Good to see you, AJ. Do you have a video on it? What's the appropriate method to organize the folders in an iOS app? There are multiple architectures how you can organize your folders, and I kind of myself made my way through. I don't know. I just tried to use MVC, used MVVM, which is more complex. I would not recommend it as a beginner at all. not until you really understand how the API of UI kit works, or with the delegate and so on. I would not recommend using view model until you have written your own delegate protocols. So MVC is, I think, one of, if not the most used architecture, and so you can go with that. It's also pretty simple. It basically just means you have not as many folders as I have. You just have model, view, controller, just these three. Model is basically what I do right here. The data containers, so basically my classes that contain, or structures that contain the data to be displayed in the view. The view is basically the view, but if you have small components like this view right here, this view right here, which is a cell, and controller is just your controller, which is the whole controller right here. I call it workout controller, whatnot. That's it. And then those folders just get fuller and fuller. And what I like to do is, if I have main screens in the app, say a home screen, or like say we have the Instagram app, right? The Instagram app has like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screens, main screens. And so what I like to do is have like 5 folders. One is the home folder, the other is the search, then we have create, then we have like, and then we have profile. And so you see you have exercise, workout, and then running workout. So the main screens, and inside these main screens I have MVC, model view controller. So I know, okay, my app is basically structured based on its main screens. That's how I do it. It's not something that is basically the golden path of how to architect your app. I even do something on top of that, right? I have the request, response, and dispatch repository architecture on top of that, just to make it simpler. But this is also, I would say, it is quite advanced. It will make your life horribly. It will make your life horrible if you start trying to implement that, because you don't really understand as a beginner what is this all for, and what responsibilities to put where and stuff like that. I remember in my days I didn't. It just came naturally to like slowly evolve, and it's fine. It's totally fine to start out with super messy code. Just get things done and always try to improve. That's the only thing, but never stress yourself to be perfect from the get-go. I didn't do that either. And we say func here. So what we can do here is we can now do the same. We have basically minutes in seconds. Oh yeah, right. Minutes in seconds is basically model minutes times 60. And then we have seconds. So some seconds is model seconds plus minutes in seconds. Is that int? It is. So we have some seconds. Our response is this one. And we can use, or basically we can actually say return current exercise response. The seconds are some seconds, and exercise name is model dot title, like so. That's it. So all we need is the seconds, the sum of all seconds, and the exercise name. Now we want to fix the comments, because comments always lie. What we can do here is set exercise model. This is current, so no, we want to have current exercise response. And we want to self countdown label text is equal to current exercise response dot seconds description, and self exercise name is current exercise response exercise name. Obviously, when we set it, we want to also have functions that are kicking off, kicking off the whole process. Do we want to do it from here? If we set things, we want to set self progress bar. Oh yeah, we don't have access right down there because it's the progress view, which is private, and the progress view progress. It's private. How do we set it? How do we want to set it? Func set progress to, this is of type what? CG float? Oh, come on. Interesting. Float, just float. Okay. Set progress. Like so. Everything else stays the same. I found Swift delegates a bit confusing when I was learning them. Do you use them to pass data between views or for custom table cells? Would this be the programmatic way of doing storyboard segs? I don't know about storyboard segs or segues. I mean, it's not that I didn't hear about them. I think it's the transitioning between view controllers or how to transition between them and then pass on data with them. That's not necessarily how you can do that. Probably it's not necessarily how you would do that with delegates. What I use delegates for is, for example, if I have a view and a view controller, and I want this view controller to know at some point that something has happened in this view. There's no way of always asking every second, hey view, what state is there, what state is there, what state is there, are you already at 100% or whatnot. No, this view would have, at some point when it reaches 100%, it will kick off, it will just say, hey, my delegate, I'm firing this function because I'm at 100%. And with this function, I mean a function that you define yourself in a protocol and have this view define a delegate that conforms to this protocol, and then your view controller conforms to this protocol, implements this function, and assigns itself as a delegate to this view when you are using this view in the view controller. The exact same way how you use table view. Table view is just a view you are using in your view controller, then you're extending your view controller and conform to a protocol that is called something delegate. Then you implement some functions, and then you say, by the way, hey, table view, I'm your delegate. Like you say table view.delegate itself. So the table view knows to call on its delegate these kind of functions that you implemented. This can sound, I mean, having it, I know it might sound complicated when I just say it without showing something. It might get even confusing because if you don't have the overview of it, I'm not sure if you can get it without showing code. I might not even have gotten it that way. But if you once you know what you're talking about, then it's kind of straightforward. So we will do that here. No worries, with the delegate stuff, we will get to the point with the progress view that we have, with the progress bar actually. So let me just think now So we are setting it. That's fine. I wonder, do I have it still open? Yes, because he's also animating it at some point. It doesn't look animated at all. Although he uses what is it? Da, 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 da. Is he? I thought he was animating it somewhere. Well, probably not. Okay, anyway, so what we could do is duration and then animation is basically, I hope it's animatable. Let's see, maybe the documentation tells us something about it. So presented, fix it for me, thanks. Indicates whatever. Wow, plenty of more information. Okay, so let's see if that, I'm purposely using 0.5 because if we use 1, I think it's 1 second. And we know that we want to update the progress every second. And so we could do 1 second, so it takes 1 second to animate the progress, and it will fluently just do the next second right once the second is over. So it should actually be continuous. Let's see if that works. Thanks for that explanation. Helps me wrap my head around it a bit. Yeah, I hope in one of the streams, once we get to it, it helps also the understanding of it. I think it will be in either tomorrow or the day, more likely the day after tomorrow, so Friday. Alright, so we have this, so we can from here say progress bar set progress to 0. That's what we wanted to do initially. It will take 1 second to set to 0. That's interesting. Yeah, that's fine, I think. If it's full and we're having the new exercise coming in. Now we're setting it like this, right? What we could do is whenever we set it, we can kick it off from in here. So we could say down here private func kickoff countdown, and timer interval 1 second repeats true. Let's see, this is kicking it off, and then we have the block that should be executed. We don't need the timer in there, I think. Fire. So when we fire it, it will do the one every second. It will do update, for example. We should count the current state. So this is, oh yeah, right. We have the current response in there, and we need a reference to where we are going. So we have the seconds, that makes sense. And once we reach 0, so one thing I forgot about is setting off that private, or declaring off that private. So private var second remaining seconds. var, we have the seconds, and I think remaining seconds. Do we want to have remaining seconds? Not really. Past seconds. Let's do it this way. So when we have, once we reach past seconds is equal to, say, the current exercise response, which is optional because we don't have an init that we use here. When we are initting the view controller, we pass it in, it's a requirement. From there, we could initiate that view. I don't like how dependent this is from one another. So let's go with optional here. Do you have a backend for this app? Not yet. Right now it's just frontend, but also there's no backend needed. It's just a fitness app that doesn't communicate with the web or internet for now. What I'm thinking is I want to use Firebase at some point, not for the backend, but to track some analytics. And what I also want to do is implement a backend, very simple, just to have registration. Basically, I am thinking about whether or not we should go for registration or without registration. I don't know yet. I want to have a feature where you have a wish list in the app where you can request features for the app and you can upvote it, basically like in Reddit. Someone posts a feature, all the people who are using the app can upvote a feature. So I see this list and I see, oh, this is the highest vote. This is the next feature I'm implementing. It's not me who decides the next feature you want. You are the ones who are deciding which feature you want for the app and what you're missing. So you should also be in control of that. And for that, I want to build it's super simple. I want to build it with server-side Swift Vapor, and I'm going to. The only thing I'm not sure about yet is whether I should do the unique UUID, use that to identify you as a unique user of the app, so you don't need to register yourself. You can just vote and create posts right away, or whether I should tell you, oh, you have to register for that. But if I do that, yeah, we can do both. I think that would also just be email and password, basically. Yeah, should be fine. Okay, anyway, moving on. So we have this. Once we set all of that, we can also just set it first. Self current exercise response is current exercise response. So we are assigning it, so we have it here. And what we can do here down there is we can say, oh, we do need a timer. So we can timer, what is it, invalidate at some point. So I really wonder if this one has to be like, might be that this one has to be a global variable, a class struct variable. We get to that point. Now, if so, guard let, let's say guard let exercise, and then current exercise response, it shall not be nil. Else, what I like to do is I like to use this one and then just say self, and then also early return, and then say This is the best that I came up with myself to log errors. There are better ways to do it, but I never took the time to look into it or say put in a basic time to see if there's a native implementation or even go for a library to log stuff. I watched your recorded stream of yesterday as I was unable to watch the live session. They are always interesting to watch. Thank you. I appreciate it. I really appreciate it. If there's anything I can improve, always let me know. I'm super thankful about feedback. Now let's really quick say missing current, basically current exercise response. Fix that. No. Now we know here the exercise is not nil, and what we can say is if past seconds is equal to exercise seconds, which is, for example, when we have an exercise that's 45 seconds and we are with past seconds at the same point, we know, hey, it's over, and we should call delegate function to let it know we are over, or we are at 100% or whatever. Let it know exercise is over. So this would be our delegate call. And then we are also timer invalidating and return. And if we are not there yet, this is always early return approach. So is the condition met? If not, early return. Just don't even continue to execute the next code. And then next step, does it fulfill the requirement? Do something, and then down here, what we want to do is, which means we are still running. So basically, past seconds, increase it by 1, and progress bar set progress to past seconds, right? So self. So what this should do is, oh yeah, this is float. Do we need this one can let's just do a cast right here. What this should do is, when we are at 32 and the exercise is 45 seconds, we're going in here and we have the exercise, so it's not nil. We go in here, past seconds is 32, exercise seconds is 45, so it's not equal. So we are here, and then we're increasing by 1, which is 33, and then we are setting the progress to 33. It will take 1 second to adjust the progress bar. It should have been 32 before, so for 1 second increasing it by 1 should be fine. But I wonder right now, it doesn't really make sense, because what we're doing right now, if I look at it, the progress is set to progress, which is 32. This is over 1. We have to calculate what does 1 mean, which is basically say the exercise seconds amount, like 1 divided by the exercise seconds amount is 1 fraction, and if all seconds times 1 fraction is reached, then this is 1. So this is basically what we want. So 1% is equal, say, exercise seconds. 1 divided to exercise seconds. This is 1%. 1%, and then we want to say past seconds times 1%. This is our progress actually. So that, and we are in the end, when we are at the same amount of exercise seconds, we are saying, here we say 1 divided by 45, and at some point we are going to say past seconds is 44, so 44 times whatever is the result is almost 1, so we are at the very end. What we can do is we can say, oh yeah, we also want to say self progress bar set progress to 1, which is 100%. We know that at this point. When I watch you coding with Swift, I miss semicolons, lol. I don't miss them at all. This is such a waste. It doesn't really make sense. It does make sense. Implicitly, if you end the, like, if it's a new line, it should tell you, okay, this is how it ends. Hey Martin, how's the coronavirus situation in your end? Anil, I think it's people just hamster buy stuff. Other than that, still not, you don't really feel something. You just buy stuff yourself too. Jake the programmer, I'm gonna hit the hi Martin, have a good rest of your night. Good night, Jake. Thanks for swinging by and good job with your app. So I just want to see, we will soon stop the stream as well, because we've been streaming for 1.5 hours already. I just want to finish this, what I started. So let me see, we are at 100%, which is fine. Then we are invalidating, we are not looping into it again. Return. If it's not, then we should increase it, which is fine. Kicking off once we are setting. So set progress to 0. I think when you kick off, this should be part of, you don't want to care about what does kickoff mean from here. You just want to kick it off. And kickoff defines for itself what it means. It means setting the progress bar to 0, creating a timer, doing all this magic stuff. And so what you want to do is kick off countdown. Oh, what we could do is we could instead, we will have to see whether timer has to be a global variable, but the current exercise response, oh yeah, it has to be somewhere. I started Swift happily after knowing it doesn't have semicolons, and then I fell in love with everything about Swift like Martin. Yes, right? It's so, like, anything else that I write feels a little bit cumbersome. It doesn't, sometimes it doesn't feel right, even if like either the language is having more clutter around it to be written. For example, if you want to print into the console in C#, you have to say, what is it, console.writeLine, and then you say it instead. And then if you want to do it for Java, you say something system dot and then something else as well, like you have kind of long thing. Here you just say print, done. And this is just an example. It applies to lots of other areas in this language compared to these languages as well. So either it's longer in other languages, which I feel is kind of cumbersome to do, like lots more code to write for the same result. And if not, if the code is as long, sometimes it doesn't make sense to me how things are structured. For example, all primitive types here basically primitive types, or even if they are not, types are always capital, like int, float, double, all your structs, all your classes, always capital. However, I think it's in C or so, or might also be in C#, where you have types like string and int, where int is capital and the primitive types are capital, but string is not as is not a primitive type, and it's lowercase, or the other way around. Everything is lowercase, but just string is uppercase, because string is actually a class there, or something like that. And I find this kind of like you use it and you feel as if it was a primitive type, but it's not, and therefore it has like a different casing and things like that. Just doesn't feel so round. Here everything feels kind of round, to me at least. And then also things like writing func instead of function, right? So yeah, and also and also things like return values. If you have return values, most languages would define them in front of the function, although if you speak from left to right, it's like function definitions, privacy level, private, public, and then you say the return value, and then you say what the function is named, and then the function body. I feel like this is kind of counterintuitive, because you have things that come in the end, in the front and whatnot, and Swift is like, hey, privacy level, the name of the function, and what it returns. It feels like this is the right order. So yeah, Mohammed says, yes, that's true. Yeah, typed with capital in C# are classes. Yeah, string is class and other are primitive data types. Yeah, something like that. I mean, I'm not an expert on these languages, but I do remember these kind of things from back in the days when I was working with them, that in comparison felt to me counterintuitive, which I really enjoy about Swift. It's not the case for it. So we're kicking off, and let's see if we are, say, I think we are setting it, right? Let's see if it works. I have no idea. I don't think it will work, because we're not even updating. I think progress bar might work, but we're not even updating the label. The label should also update. So past seconds, if it equals the seconds, then we have self countdown. No, yes, countdown label. Text is equal to 0. Just makes sense. Else, what we want is self countdown label text is equal to the exercise seconds subtracted with the past seconds, which is 0 in the beginning. So if an exercise is 45 and we just start the exercise and past seconds are 0, then we have 45 as the countdown label. Once description, come on. Once we go once through here, we have past seconds is 1, and then this results into 44. So we have kind of an updated thing. So let's see if it works. I don't know. So home workout, we're adding skips, 55 seconds, start the workout. Oh yeah, are we in the background all the time? So maybe at some point it will update it, maybe not at all. Oh, we're never kicking off the, oh, are we? We are. I think we are, because this is saying scissor raises and 45. Why is it saying no? No, it's not. It's saying scissor raises and 45. It shouldn't. This should not say this. We don't want any mock data anymore. We want actual data. So counter should be that. So I think we don't use set yet. Let's go into running workout. And yeah, we don't use set. Kickoff workouts is basically view did load, setup view. View, let's use view did appear. And then say kick off workout. Once it appears, only then we want to kick off the workout. Past exercise, yeah, and then we want to say current workout, current exercise view set. And the current one is basically it's the same right here. So if what we want to do, if the current exercise point is the same count, let's just have let's just dismiss the current view controller again. So it opens, it goes down in countdown and dismisses itself once it's done. Let's just do that. Else we can safely say that the response is exercise list current exercise point, and then this is the model. Response is current exercise response from model, and then we can say response like so. Trigger exercise view to countdown, increment current exercise point. We don't. Oh yeah. That's in the end. Oh yeah, we want to kick off it again. Let's just leave the comments yet for now. Kickoff workout is kicked off. Let's see. Save, add, skips, 5 seconds, save, start. 4 skips, 3, 2, 1, done. 100%. We're getting there. We're getting there. So the progress bar does not work as expected yet, but it's fine because here we should see that sometimes it would show it, sometimes not. That you're in the background thread, which you don't want to be. It's not saying that, but I know it is because the current view, this one, is running in the background. And what we want to do whenever we are updating UI the view, we want to be on the main thread, and we can ensure to do that by saying dispatch queue main async. Now we are executing all code in the main thread, and same, let's see, applies for that. And now let's see if our progress bar works, whether that was the issue. Also, you have seen how the label would update so late or disappear so late. Maybe this was also related to being in a background thread. Sometimes background threads which still work out, but so let's say skips, 5, done, save, start, 2, 1, okay, 100%. I think we can debug it next time, but for now, if you ever about game development, interesting UI, is this neumorphism? Buka Pintu, yes it is. It is neumorphism. I just thought about, hey, there's this new UI trend, why not just build the next app with this new UI trend. I must say now, after having it designed and implemented, I don't quite like it. So I might just throw it away at some point with an update and just make it super clean. But yeah, as I said, it's interesting. It's just a new way. Let's see how people like it. Let's debug next time why this one would just fill up when it's 100%, and let's also implement the delegate protocol for next time too. So everybody, if you're ever about game development, I am actually pretty torn to game development. I also would like to implement an MMORPG, and for that I started learning game development, and that's why I released one game purely written in Swift and SceneKit, like completely from scratch, everything, which was super cool. It was super challenging, mathematically as well. I miss math because you don't use math here at all. Most of the times, 99% of your software engineering career, no mathematics. It's not the case. Anyway, guys, peeps, thank you so much for joining. I'm gonna end the stream here. I'm sorry, I have to stop. It's late, it's 9 p.m. I want to see whether I can go somewhere with Susie or have dinner, and also finish the proposal for today for a client. But we will be back tomorrow. We'll be back tomorrow, and I hope I see you guys tomorrow too. So have a good night, have a good day. Thanks again for joining, and stay safe and healthy. Always wash your hands and don't touch your face like me. I'm not sure if I should do that. Bye.